Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a lively chat with the wonderful Ana Lopez. We'll be touching on a bit of everything: politics, family life, finances, and much more. So sit back, relax, and let's jump right in.
Hey, good evening. I know you guys are expecting to see Ms. Lopez. Don't worry, she'll pop right up in a minute. Um, as always, we always like to start our show off by saying something that we are grateful for. And I'm gonna tell you this weather, whoo Lord, I am so grateful that I'm not outside in the cold because I don't know what I would do if I was homeless, man. I think I'd lose my mind because it was freezing. I mean, you're talking about sub-zero weather, freezing. So that's why I'm glad a couple of people invented things. Like that brother invented the jammy for the back of the truck. But there was one invention that I did like, and I don't know if you guys ever heard of him. His name is Elijah McCall. And they used to call him the real McCoy. There was a reason why that was. Now, he was born May 2nd, and this was like 1814, somewhere around there, 1844. He died in 1929 in October 10th. But during his life, he had so many inventions. One of them was that he would had a device that they utilized for the trains to oil the wheels while the train was in motion. See, at one point they had to stop the train. Just imagine you're chugging along, chug, 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 chug. They had to stop the trains just so they can oil the wheels. They had to come up with the oil cans. All right. He invented a device where you didn't have to do that. Now, of course, he got a patent on it, and a lot of people wanted it, and other people tried to copy what he did. But when people went to go buy it for the train or the big people, they always went and said, "No, we don't want that brand. We want the real McCoy." So if you ever hear that expression, "the real McCoy," that's where it came from. All right, let's get on with our show today. Today is February 9th, Monday. It is 4:30. We started a little late this evening, but we're going to keep it chugging along. All right, without further ado, hello, Miss Ana Lopez. How are you this afternoon?
I'm grateful for being warm for sure.
I tell you, it was cold as hell out there, right?
Yeah, oh my goodness.
And let me
But
tell you something. Let me tell you the bad part. So my furnace went out. Can you imagine being in this weather? No heat, no hot water.
oh my goodness.
And you know, I'm not a 20-year-old. We're aging, as my wife would say. I'm maturing. See? So as a maturing young man, I'm not going down there to mess with no furnace. So we had to end up getting a new one, and they cost. But I give props to the VA because they did look out for me. So if anybody, veterans, you guys, if you need any home assistance or you need a new furnace or something, I would call the VA because they got different grants and different programs. One of the programs is called the VTA, which is a Veterans
Mm.
Temporary Assistant Program. So if you guys don't know about it and you need a little help, maybe with some repairs around the house, I think they give you a one-shot deal, but they come through for you like they came through for me. So Anna, how's your
Mhm.
week been, babe?
Oh, it's been good. But I guess one of the things that I've seen out there is kids going to the bus, being so cold as it is, and being alone, and um, not being in a car waiting for the bus to come. That's because parents are out there, they're working, they can't be there, with their child, like in a warm car. And I think that's one of the saddest things that I've been seeing just lately this week, just been really touching me about it because when did it get so hard to raise a
I don't know
family?
what happened. What is there lack of funding for transportation for the kids? If they have to stand out in cold or something, or like I mean, I see around here. I see the buses come through. The kids either get on, they get off. Usually the parent is right there because they can't let them off the bus without the parent being there. So
You,
someone has to be there to take them, right? So what are you saying? You got kids standing out in the cold and nobody's there to pick them up, or what's going on?
waiting in the beginning, like, and even the older ones that have to walk, because after a certain age, you don't need a parent to pick you up at the bus stop anymore. Um, but in the morning time is when I've seen it lately that the kids are waiting for the bus, waiting to get onto it to get to school, that morning, and some parents just can't do it, because
Right.
they have to go out to work and it's not like they're climbing the corporate ladder or anything. I believe it's just the bills are so high that they have to work. They have to work to pay this PPL. They have to go out and pay for groceries that are so high, taxes. Like they have to work and they can't afford to lose hours at their job. And in turn, you have these kids out in cold, waiting for a bus,
Right,
and
because their parents aren't able to be there to either put them on the bus or take them off the bus. But I would assume those kids have to be of a certain age,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
We're not talking about kindergartners or first
No,
graders or even
no,
fifth graders. We're talking much more. So these kids
yeah.
can probably go somewhere and warm up or something. I guess that's why the parents trust them a little bit. But still, transportation is transportation, and it should be ready and available for everyone to utilize.
Yeah,
So
and,
I
and
think
it is.
that's
I just feel sorry for the kids that have to be in the cold, and I was just wondering why. When did it get so hard? Like, why? What can we do to help our to help each other to be able to afford, a parent to stay home, and I just wish
well.
we can do more, you know.
I can use two words. One word is accountability, and the
Hmm.
second word is affordability. I mean, just as you stated, a lot of parents they can't afford to take off. Some parents work at night, so they don't get up early enough to get the kids out to school. And some parents that have to be at work in the day, they got to be to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, so they don't have enough time to put the kids on the bus. So again, they want to be accountable for what they do. Of course, you want to be accountable, but then you talk about affordability and even accountability. Is it more accountable for me to put food on the table or to make sure that my kid gets on the bus?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I get that. I get that. I just I've been writing some legislation to see how we can try to help that situation, and I'm having a actual community gathering on the 19th of February so we could get everyone together to kind of talk about these things. And I have ideas, yes, but I don't know it all, and and I want to hear from the people who are hurting and people who have lived their life and have seen, their whole journey and what they did to solve it or help it or
Right, right.
so I'm searching for these ideas to best complement what I'm writing so that we can really be able to create the solutions for parents and for community grandparents. If you have grandparents bringing their kids out to the bus, because so they're out in the cold, with their grandkids. So just coming together as a
Well,
community, I think
I
is
mean,
important
what I
for
can
the
say
kids
is
to
for
be
the
out.
kids for the after school,
Yeah.
the kids that's getting off, maybe they can have some sort of after school programs in the school itself, and instead of relying on the bus to come and pick up the children, the parent can actually come pick them up when they get off work. Maybe the school bus rides through at 3 o'clock. Maybe you can have an extension or something for an after school program that the kid can stay until 6 o'clock, and that gives enough time for the parent to get home, grab the kid, and go back.
That's
Or
really
just start another day.
that's
So how
really
about
good.
something like that? I mean, didn't the
Yeah.
what was it, the Black Panthers? They started some after school programs to help feed kids and so forth and so on. Now that would make a nice solution, I think, or it
Mhm.
would be part of the solution
Yeah.
to have some after school programs. So do we have any after school programs? And
No.
if we do, how are they funded?
Well, in Pennsylvania we don't, but in New York City there was after school programs. The one that I work with closely is WEDCO. It's a women's, the acronym. It's so long. WEDCO was a great women's nonprofit organization that helped build a program that you can uh, that they paid for the after school program for the kids until that's how I survived as a parent to come home after work because I went to school full time and I worked full time and I had my three kids full time, on my own. So they were able to provide that for me. Where so it's an early morning start. I would drop off the kids early morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning if I needed to, and be able to get to work and come home and have, they did homework after school. I mean, they did even with my son, he was in fencing, he was a chess champ. They did like, certain programs that the kids could get into. They had theater, after school, like the kids could pick which group they're going to be in their after school program. And of course, they had homework help after school. So this after school program that Wetful sponsored in my neighborhood was something that was very resourceful for us. And of course, it wasn't state funded, but it was a nonprofit that was able to take on that job and really help me thrive, at least as a mom. Even though I wasn't there available to raise my kids, I had a trustworthy place to have them safe and really work on their development.
I mean, as far as the funding is concerned, we're already paying a buku load of taxes. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cold. But we're already paying a whole hell of a lot of taxes, and the taxes are still going up. So why can't we at least have some say, especially since the program works? The after-school program, it's been proven over and over. It works. It helps out a lot of parents, especially when they have to work late. Especially the single mothers. I mean, you got the boss screaming at them because they got to leave early to go get their kid. No, who wants to hear that? But if you had after-school programs or some sort of type of programs that you can assist the kids after school, that would probably be a good idea. And as far as the funding, we already pay a lot of taxes, so why can't it already come out of what's in the state? All the state would have to do is allocate the money for itself.
Yeah, I can't. Right now, there's not enough. The money that we get, to educate our children is just not enough. There are certain gaps that are in our taxation system in Pennsylvania that we can levy, like high sales. When it comes to like high real estate sale of homes like over $1 million or more, like we could tax that for more money to fund this after school, programs idea, along with like luxury car sales. Like you have a car that you're spending over $100,000, $200,000 on. We could raise taxes on that. And then that money can fund into this after school program idea that you have. I think it's a great
that's
idea. It
one
can work.
program, but still, we even for things to work out with after school program, we're gonna have to start getting things working out in the school. Period. And I'm talking about the literacy portion of it. That you got a kid he's already in the 12th grade, he's about ready to graduate. He only reads at the 6th grade level. That's a problem. So we
Yeah,
having a lot of difficulties with the education. That's why I think some people would rather throw away the whole thing. That's the baby and the bathwater, and kind of start all over again. I'm not going to say I don't disagree, but I don't disagree with the methods or the way that they want to go about doing it. Because people that look like me, we've been miseducated, and we've already been given inadequate education to begin with right off the bat, as a default. So that's the only reason why I would say you throw out the baby and the bathwater. But since we're not going to be able to do that, what are we gonna do to fix the system so that kids can get an opportunity to actually get a good education? I mean, a really good, decent education. What are we going to do about that? What can we implement into the schools to do that?
well, here I have a success story for you. Just in our last school board meeting, because I've been advocating on helping our literacy and trying to find programs to help our children learn. And one of the biggest problems we were having was finding the material or the right, publishers that actually come up with, these ways to teach our children, tools, so our teachers can teach our children most effectively. So what we found was actually from the state of Pennsylvania, they did a pilot program that our school, Coquitlam Mountain School District applied for, and we started to implement that program. And it was just this coming school year, and they took in struggling children, children who struggled with reading, and they put them in the program, and it accelerated the students. Like there was this girl, I'm so sorry, I forget her name, but she came onto the school board meeting that we just recently had, and she was speaking, like public speaking. She just was picking up her paper, reading it because she had trouble reading out loud, and she started reading it like a pro. I'm so proud of this young lady and all the work that she put into to be able to raise her literacy, and the program that we were able to get that the school says that it's very inexpensive to run, and we're looking to expand it all throughout our K through 12 at Pocono Mountain. So this literacy definitely, we've seen it's been an issue, and we've been working on it. I don't know, the teachers have been working on it, but I've just been advocating for it, and they did the job. They did, Pocono Mountain staff, teachers, they've done such an amazing job. I'm so proud of them, and what they've done to help our students just get to that next level. So that's a success story. We are working on it. We got the tool, and it's very cheap, and it's very successful, and we're going to replicate it in our school system. So we got the solution. So I'm really happy about that, because it was a very long time coming.
Again, because this is African American History Month, I gotta really get in there and say some things about some things. So you're
Oh,
Puerto Rican,
yeah,
of African descent. So actually, we have a profound connection there, and this is through the roots from the African diaspora. Specifically, when we talk about our ancestry, a lot of it comes from the West Coast of Africa. A lot of things that we do, the music that's being played with the rhythm. We talked about La Bamba,
yeah,
which is an African
yeah,
dance, right?
yeah,
Right. We talked about that being an African dance, along again with the music,
yeah,
culinary, the food. What do we talk about? Plantanos,
yeah,
plantains, right?
yeah,
Right. Hey, so what I'm saying is that African American history seems to be Puerto Rican history as well,
yeah,
right? It seems like we
yeah,
have we have a whole lot in common,
a lot.
more so than other people.
Mhm.
I believe we have more in common, okay, especially because of being oppressed for so long,
Yeah,
you know. But let's get back to school, because that's where you're at, and this is where you're making your big stink at. So we had number one, and we talked about after school programs to
yeah,
maybe help to
cool.
alleviate and to give some of the parents a little leeway
Mhm.
as far as picking the kids up from school,
Yeah,
that we can have after school programs. I don't know, something silly like music, art and craft. I don't know. Maybe even start something like a chess team and actually have that. How about something like maybe a debating team, especially for the older children that's within the system, or
yeah, our
something where
Pocono Mountain has it, but it's not for all children, because you need a teacher in order to teach it, right? So we need to have the teacher who's willing to come early in the morning and be available to come that early in the morning, and be able to, all the parents bring in their kids, because my son was in like I forgot what the program was, some recording something early in the morning, and I would bring him to school at 7 in the morning, but it's only for one teacher has like 25 students, so this is more on a bigger scale for every single child to have that opportunity, and the same thing with MCTI, where I'm really big on trades. Uh, you know, it's only for a certain amount of students, but we need, there's a huge waiting list in MCTI from students who want to get into the trades but don't have the opportunity because the space is limited. Why is that space limited? Why can't we invest in our educational system to expand those opportunities for our children? Like you were saying, especially in literacy, why can't we grow that? And I think that the answer to that is that we need to be able to, push, like maybe build these coalitions where people who consider that to be important, that we all get together and be able to stay in contact and build that platform that we need to press our elected officials all around Pennsylvania to really get what we need. Because unfortunately, not it's not going to be given, right? Especially with our history, especially in being Black History Month, and how much we've been suppressed. We've gotten our freedom through our fight,
right,
through through us coming together. So this is no different. If we want change, we're going to have to step up, and we're going to have to get together. That's why I have this meeting on the 19th of February, because I'm calling the people. People, we want to change. Well, come and show up. If the community is important to you, then I need you to show up. If you want to, you have to be the change that you want in the world. and we're,
Yeah.
and we need the most experience. So my seniors need to come out. Like, they're the most experienced, they have the most wisdom. Please, I need you to come out so that we can hear your lessons, your life, your life legacy, and carry that with us, with that torch to the forefront, so our children, can afford
Yeah,
to
you know,
suppress us.
I kind of don't have much of a problem when people talk about experience, but I kind of do, because when you say experience, a lot of times that just leads us right back to where we started from, the status quo. So
Mm,
I think, yeah, maybe we need to groom, as I say, we need to groom some of the younger ones, and
yeah,
allow them to put their input in as to what they may see changes may need to be.
yeah,
I don't mind
yeah.
the experience. The experience is good. It's
It
good for
is. It
discipline and
is.
so forth. But things
It is.
don't change with experience. What changes is you have the status quo,
Your
situation
growth.
normal.
Yeah, with
So
growth. Yeah, that
that's
that's
what
why
that's
that,
what
that's
you're trying to
why
change.
Yeah, and that's why I built my civic engagement program. I have a manual that I created that I was expressing in another show of ours, where I built a manual of 250 pages with all these different articles and questions and interactions to really build the youth. And I have about 3, 4 youth on my team that I'm, like you say, teaching, growing. They're growing in their civic engagement, what that looks like, what it means to them, you know, what is it now, what was it yesterday, and what do we want it to be tomorrow.
Mm,
So these are very important questions and answers, and we have to engage. Now, I do it for free. We don't, I don't charge for it, and that's something that's, for me, is valuable, because we need to be able to help each other and build each other. And unfortunately, money doesn't come with that. At times we don't see that in our systems that we have right now in government, that says this is valuable. We don't teach it in school. Like this type of
right.
enrichment and encouragement that you're saying that we need to
Well,
have.
not to back you in a corner, but I mean, those words have been said before. I mean,
Yeah,
just about everybody I know that runs for something, that's one of the first things they say is, well, we need to come together. So here's a question that I pose to most people. Yeah, if we need to come together, how are we going to do it? What steps are you going to take to get there? I mean, realistic steps, not just talking points, because talking points are just that, talking points. The real stuff. How are we actually going to come together? Now, I would tell you, I see from what you're doing that you're bringing the pastors together. You're coming from more of a religious point of view. Now that's
one
cool.
one
That's
day.
good, because you'll find that there are a lot of people that are influenced by their pastor. And I imagine if you can influence their pastor, then you would influence them. And that may help you to start some real change. But to say I want to make change, everybody says that. But when you ask them, well, how you plan on doing it? It's a different story. Nobody has an
No,
answer for that.
absolutely. No, well, I have created change, and I have brought people together for many, many years. One of the biggest things in New York City we were seeing was that our principals, we couldn't get quality principals, we couldn't retain our teachers. It was a huge problem. So um, I needed a solution, and I'm a solutionist. So I started writing, thinking, and I became PTA president of the school, my child's school. And as
Right.
I'm, trying to bring in parents to the school, there was a parent that was part of the Parent Action Committee. It was New Settlement Apartments, a nonprofit that was nearby that allowed parents to come together. It's the Parent Action Committee, and they approached me and said, "Anna, we have some really, great ideas. How about you join our group, and let's build the solutions together?" And I loved it. It was a community-based organization that had given money for parents to have food after school, for babysitting after school, and parents would get together after school, so that, and we had translation, so we had these devices for translation for Spanish speaking families, and we also had Creole, because we also had a big Creole group that came in as well, um, to translate and work together on ideas. And when we did that, we were able to create what we wanted as a lead teacher project, and how we can be able to bridge that gap between teachers to be developed into principals, and how we can retain teachers at their levels, so giving them a professional step ladder to come up to, and also to raise the grades of our kids. So the environment was very important to us. And I was one of the lead parents to go over to LA and to Chicago to research. We did research. We actually read, we asked questions, on people on the worst failing schools and how they became successful. We did all that research. We wrote it down. We partner up with universities. Universities got together with us and was able to really come together with a wonderful plan for our project.
Right.
And then we knocked on doors. We knocked on doors and we started to see who wanted to do what. Some just wanted to come to a rally. Others just wanted to cook. Others just wanted to
So the
decorate.
way,
So that's how I did it. And we got
all right. So
together.
the way you want to do it out here is how you're going to get the information out to people.
Right. I call them up. I knock on their door. I do. And I meet them
Are
where
you
they're
going to go
at.
door to door? You really
I
going to do
have.
that? You're going to go door to
I've been
door?
door to
Okay.
door,
Well,
even
maybe
in the
that'll be
snow.
the way you have to get the message out to
Yeah,
people.
I mean, one way or another.
What I am going to do is it's about that time. We got to take care of our little sponsors then when they come in. So
Thank you.
what we're going to take a little break just for about a minute. All right. And then we'll be back, and Anna Lopez will get an opportunity to tell us why she wants to be a candidate. All right.
A doctor's calling, a company's mission, united for a greater good. When Edmark International, the pioneers of wellness, joined forces with Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, naturopath, the world gained a new weapon in the fight for true health. Co-created, science-backed, nature-powered. This isn't just a product. This is a movement. Born from decades of groundbreaking research, naturopathic mastery, and Edmark's relentless innovation.
The body wants to heal itself, and we have just given it the ultimate toolkit.
A detox unlike any other. A partnership unlike any other. The future of health starts now.
All right. Thanks again for tuning in. We're hanging out with Anna Lopez. I'm Kendall Stevenson. I'm just along for the ride. So Anna here is talking about school and the things that maybe we can help us along with some of getting the kids to school, or maybe just picking them up, starting some sort of after school programs or something that would help the parents to alleviate some of the stress about rushing to get to the school. We talked about maybe chess or some different programs that maybe be able to start for the children. She was at the moment, she wanted to tell you how she was planning on doing it. So we're going to bring her back in and ask her again. So Anna, so how you plan on making these things happen? One time you said you go door to door. So what do you do now?
Well, right now, I'm calling up everyone. So I'm making phone calls, from, I believe, 9:30 in the morning till about 3, 4 o'clock right now, because I actually got adopted, right? I was like telling you, I need to get adopted. I need to find a place that's of someone who can host me, so that I could bring the community together. So I found a United Methodist Church here in Mount Pocono who's willing to adopt me into their space. And in that space, I want to be able to have focus groups on, right now it's just 4 different topics, which I have on my website, annalopezbookda115.com, to speak about education, taxation, environmental issues, and immigration. And we're going to brainstorm, and we're going to have these tables with with the secretary so that they can jot down everything that's being spoken about, so I could get any ideas or any questions that were brought out in the focus groups. So we're going to have these focus groups, talk about these issues, and work through creating legislation that may help them, help all of us, actually. And having these workshops, I'm hoping to have another one on a Saturday, maybe at ESU if they're willing to adopt me, and have some really professionals in their area, like an educator, that's licensed educator, they want to come and talk. I have some retired teachers coming in that focus group of education, so they can lend their feedback into education and immigration. I have someone who's working through issues of immigration going to speak at that table in that focus group. And the focus group on environment, I'm still looking for a person who wants to really speak, has the experience in working in environmental protection, so that we can really have some professional feedback as well as community feedback. So I believe that these focus groups would really help us in engaging with each other and creating the things that we need for our future together.
All right, that sounds like a good plan. Sound like you got one. That usually that's the first step is you got to have a plan. I guess the second step is to execute the plan and make sure that you have good results in the end. Is there any last words that you want to say? We're about at the end, so before we started a little late, I apologize.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But before we break out, is there any particular thing that you like to say? Just look in the camera and talk to me.
Well, I would like to ask my community to come out and meet with me. I'm having lunch on the 19th of February in United Methodist Church in Mount Pocono, and I'd like to come out, meet with me. Let's have a discussion, real discussion about how, when did it get so hard? When did life get just too hard, and how we can help? Because we need to help each other, and we need to be there from the ground up building it because it's broken. Our systems are broken and we are hurting and things are failing and we need to hurry up and get together and create the solutions that we need for our future. So I hope to see you there. Have some lunch with me on February 19th. I will be at the door near you. I'll be at ShopRite, I believe, this Saturday, reaching out to a lot of people about the event and about different issues you want to talk about on Saturday at the Mount Pocono ShopRite, um, and reaching out to you. And hopefully we can meet and create these solutions together.
All right. Well, there it is. Hope you guys got it all in a nutshell. She's having a luncheon, so maybe you guys will show up as a community. She is here to help the community, so please understand that. And come on down. Give a hand like you said you want to. All right. My name is Kendall Stevenson, and this is not my show. This is Hanging Out with Anna Lopez. I'm here for the ride, hanging out. So hopefully next week you guys are tuning in, and Anna, she may have a guest, she may not have a guest, but I believe she's going to want to talk to you guys. She got a whole lot of information that needs to be put out. Again, Kendall Stevenson, Anna Lopez, and we are going to say peace because we're out.